Hello, this is Bill Colodzi drafting the Modern Masters 2017. I was going to say Cube, but I guess it's just the online version of the packs. We open Advent of the Worm, and this card is insane bonkers. 4 mana flash, 5/5 trample. And it's a token, so it's weak in some ways, but strong in some ways as well. All these populate cards can double it, but another kind of bird, Mistraven, can just crush it. That said, this has definitely got to be the pick here. And it puts us, leaning towards Selesnya big time. Passing a tri-land, these are incredibly strong. All the tri-lands for the shards, meaning the two ally colors sharing a color. The Alara shards. Those tri-lands are great. But yeah, starting with Advent of the Worm is a nice place to be in this format. Now, following it up, we have Urban Evolution, which is a lot of cards for maybe a Bant style deck. We could take Selesnya Guildgate to carve out our place in Selesnya here. And there's an Orzhov Signet, but I guess it's Abzan if we were to go green, white, black. And the shards are not as well supported as the wedges. The shards being the two enemy colors, the two enemy pairs sharing a color. 5 of those. In any case, I will take Selesnya Guildgate here. And it's not an exciting second pick, but it does do well with Advent of the Worm. We've got another Selesnya Guildgate, and a Vanish into Memory, and a Coiling Oracle. So those are the 3 I'm looking at here. Vanish into Memory does well with tokens. If your Advent of the Worm is about to get removed, you can vanish it and draw 5 cards. And since it never returns, it's a token, you never have to discard 5. Also, a good play if you have something that's good to bounce, or if your opponent has a high power creature, or a token of their own. So that's kind of interesting. I like both of these. They're both, this is another instant to help out Advent of the Worm. But it does put us into, well, I guess either pick here puts us into Bant. I'm going to take Vanish into Memory. It kind of is more interesting to me. And then we have something. We've got Mystic Genesis. It used to be a rare. This is downshifted from rare. It makes sense that it is, but it's also a way to play at instant speed. And we already have a couple ways to do that. So if we just keep taking the good cards to play and the counter spells at instant speed, they really support each other. Summoning Trap is not so well supported. We don't even have a creature yet, not a single one. And this really works with if you have a couple bombs in your deck like Craterhoof Behemoth or Grizzlebrand or something. But yeah, we'll take Mystic Genesis. Another good example of a card to get with this would be Broodmate Dragon, some kind of finisher. It's also good out of the sideboard against a control player. Okay, Eyes in the Skies. Now, this is a bit of a tough pick because we pass one of these high pick tri-lands. However, and usually I would take this over an Eyes in the Skies, however, it works so well with our theme of instant speed stuff. At 4 mana, we don't want to get too many things at 4 mana, but if ever we get to copy a 5/5 Worm or a giant Mystic Genesis token, then that could definitely make it worth it. Yeah, Naya could be good, but it's really vanilla. Naya seems vanilla to me. It's just a bunch of creatures, and generally a synergistic like control deck can beat it. Ooh, Master Splicer. That is another good token to copy. the golems, especially if you find another master, and most of the splicers are green and white, so that's kind of cool. Eyes in the Skies could be better here because we do have again, these tokens. But Eyes in the Skies tend to go late, and Master Splicer is strong enough that I like taking it here. Okay, Momentary Blink, not really the combo you're looking for in the Bant deck, if you have mostly tokens. However, it does work with Master Splicer specifically. You get to flicker this thing. It might be worth taking here over like a Boros Guildgate, which might help a color if we get into it. I'm not in love with Pitfall Trap. Some of the best creatures are flyers. It's conditional removal, and you know, hopefully if you're a creature-based deck, you can kind of survive on the ground without it. I'll take Momentary Blink, sort of has the highest upside here. Wow. Well, first of all, Temporal Mastery is cool. You're not always going to get to time it as well as you'd like. For example, on turn 2, it just becomes an Explore, but or you start in your opening hand and never cast it. And I think Seaside Citadel is just perfect for what we're going to be trying to do with our mana. We have got double blue, we've got double green, we've got plenty of white so far that we're likely to play in the deck, and these tricolor lands are great. Seeing it this late is also a good sign for us. Wow, another Eyes in the Skies. I'm not as sad about passing that for the Master Splicer now. It's almost tempting to take Centaur Healer, but I like the Eyes in the Skies plan. We'll try to look for some cheaper tokens. We've got Ghostly Flicker here. We've already got enough of that effect for now. So I'll take Soul Warden. If you don't main deck this, it's fine out of the sideboard, and we've got a lot of stuff that works with it. Another Selesnya Guildgate. You know, we're pretty lucky here that we didn't have to pivot out of our first pick, and it's just kind of coming to us. So, you know, you can't always expect to do this, but you should be willing to kind of stay open. Wingcrafter is fine. This is a league. The only drafts available are leagues like this, so you're drafting in a pot of 8, but you've got, I don't know what to take here actually. I don't like the Thoktar. I'll just take the card that's in our colors. And we wield Eyes in the Skies. What was I saying? So you don't really want to hate draft at all if possible. Ooh, Selesnya Signet. I'm not sure what Abrupt Decay is worth. I'd really quickly check that. Probably 3 tickets or something. Be surprised if it was much more. Oh, it's even half that. It's worth like a ticket, which is nothing compared to the price of a pack, which is only $7 online because you can't really redeem it like most sets. Or 7 tickets, if you will. Here, to ramp up to our 4 drops, the Signet is perfect, and it's on color, and a high pick. So we'll definitely take that. Yeah, in these leagues, hate drafting is just so much worse because you're not guaranteed to... It's like doubly worse because, 1, you're not guaranteed to play against the cards you're hate drafting, for 1, and 2, you might be putting other people out of the colors that you're not in, so you're putting them into the colors that you are in, which is not what you want to do. Call of the Conclave, just perfect, and we're probably going to end up with like 8 Eyes in the Skies in our deck. Have to cut some of those. But if we can start with a 3/3 Centaur on turn 2, and then populate that with some Eyes in the Skies, then we're in good shape. So yeah, that's a strong play here. We definitely have the fixing for it. Slime Molding, not really the token you want to be copying. And there's not much else here. After a bunch of great picks, we're left with not a very exciting pick here. We've got Golgari Signet, which is half on color and kind of could be worth it to try to ramp up. Or, I guess Slime Molding isn't the end of the world. Sprouting Thrynax, great card. I don't want to go double off color for this thing when, you know, our splash is likely blue, if anything. So yeah, what's the pick here? I think I'll take the Signet. It's like the highest chance we play that. Ooh, Cackling Counterpart. There's also Penumbra Spider, but I really want to test Cackling Counterpart. And since this will make a token of any creature you control, you could copy something like Master Splicer, and then when you populate this, the Master Splicer, you'll actually also get an additional golem. So that gets pretty insane, because each master will give all of your golems +1/+1. That's kind of a dream, but it could happen. And anything else, you could also copy your things that are already tokens or whatever, so I'll take it here. If you just think of this as a 3-mana populate with an expensive flashback, that's already pretty good. Okay, well here is an upgrade to our Golgari Signet in the Simic Signet, which is definitely gonna help get up to 4 mana for all of our Eyes in the Skies. Not to mention casting Mystic Genesis and Vanish and all these things. Aether Toe's fine. We might be a synergistic enough deck that effects like this get a little weaker. Seagate Oracle, highly playable, but I'll take the Signet here on color. Ooh, foil Grasp of Phantoms. Foil's not the exciting part, but it's definitely a pretty exciting card if we didn't have so many 4-drops. I'm actually tempted by Wake the Reflections here. We have enough token makers for pretty powerful tokens that even if we can go Call the Conclave, Wake the Reflections, we're getting a 3/3 for 1 mana. And generally you won't get a strong enough token theme even in a Selesnya deck to justify playing Wake the Reflections, but we're certainly getting close. Banishing Stroke, yeah, that or Tandem Lookout, both are pretty neat, but this helps deal with a ton of different threats. Alright, what now? I love these Sylvan Rangers. They don't look like they do much, but they certainly do, especially if you're in 3 colors. And we don't have much to do on turn 2, so if we can go turn 2 Ranger or turn 3 Signet into Ranger, that works with either of our Signets. So that's easily the pick here. Deputy of Acquittals doesn't work with with our tokens, and we have so many of them. But I suppose it works with our Splicer and our Ranger. So yeah, Graceful Reprieve is another one that doesn't work so well. We could take Izzet Guildgate in case we get something like Bonfire of the Damned. You know, I think I'm going to do that actually. Just in case we open something ridiculous in red. Rootborn Defense is perfect. Since we do have so many tokens, this could save our butt and at worst copy whatever token we have lying around. Molten Rain. I can't tell if this is foil or not. I don't have the animation on. It almost looks like it. Can you tell the difference between the flunkies in this? I think it is foil, yeah. Not that that matters, but there's nothing else here for us. Seal and Forbidden Alchemy, a couple Dimir cards, but I'll take the... That's close. I'll take the Seal since it does hit enchantments. Aether Toe. Just playing at instant speed here. Yeah, Aether Toe is a solid removal spell. It really is. And it hits blockers in addition to attackers. Works pretty well with Eyes in the Skies, just because you have those 2 birds to conspire. So what do we want? We'd probably pick up another Signet, if possible. It'd be poetic to get the Signet that bridges the gap. But hey, that is not bad either. We get 2 tokens with this guy. It's card advantage. I mean, it's a real 2-for-1, and a 3/3 is nothing to scoff at. With all our Eyes in the Skies, we just populate all the elephants. Centaurs, elephants, worms. This is really working out. We'll probably get to wield a Mystic Genesis as well, so we have that to look forward to. I would not be surprised given what we've been past so far. Primal Command. This is a powerful card. I'm not really sure what we get with it, but it could always get a Master Splicer, I suppose. And it can get Sylvan Ranger. We only have 3 creatures in our main deck, and we could even cut Soul Warden. Mistraven is here, but I like the fact that almost all of our 4-drops are instant speed. I'm going to take the Primal Command. Savage Lands is just double off color. It doesn't really help us. Inquisition is worth like a ticket or something. That's not too helpful. I'll take the Primal Command. It is pretty nuts to return a land to your opponent's, the top of their library. And, you know, gaining 7 life could also bail you out of a tough spot. Yeah, Bant seems to be open. We've got our choice of Rock's Warmonk, which would be a creature, or Call of the Conclave. And this is so much more important, I think, right now, to get these 2 drops down. Yeah, with all our Populate, I think that getting a 3/3 out is just too good. So what is this rare? Reveal, this is like a blue, this is not a Bant card, not a Selesnya card. This is a blue-white flicker card because it gets a creature with an enter the battlefield effect. And in our deck it just has so many misses. So it's not even as good as this uncommon, I think, in general. Vanish into Memory. Ooh, Simic Guildgate. Yep, easy pick out of this pack. There's a Sensor Splicer, but who cares about that when we can pick up a little fixing? Core Hookmaster. Giant Baiting. Interesting that this is a card that does work with Populate, because the spell says the ones made with this get exiled, but the creatures themselves don't have that text on them, so if you populate before they leave, you get these 4/4 red and green dudes. Now, there aren't so many ways to populate for cheap, so take it for what you will, but we do have Wake the Reflections. Out of this pack, though, the best thing for us is going to be this Core Hookmaster, which is a fine card in general. Alright, well, we found a Gideon's Lawkeeper, and a foil one, no less. We've got another way to populate, but Fog is not the most exciting way to do it. So I'll take the Lawkeeper. Now, we do have another chance at this Urban Evolution. I wonder if that is the direction we'll go. Arachnus Web is okay. But, you know, we don't have much removal. We've got this one Banishing Stroke, and one Vanish into Memory is kind of our big tempo plays. But our plan is really to go wide and to go tall with our giant creatures. In any case, I'll take the Urban Evolution. And this gets a bit more interesting. Fists of Ironwood. We don't have a great way to use Saprolings, because we're never going to want to populate a Saproling token. Centaur Healer is a strong card. And Unflinching Courage. What do we do with this? We could make a 5/5 Centaur pretty early. 5/5 Elephant. Maybe that's the pick here. It's so easy to deal with our stuff. But, you know, what's a random healer going to do? I'll take the Unflinching Courage in case we find a deck that is low on removal. I'm not too sad about leaving it in the sideboard, though. Mystic Genesis #2. Pretty happy about that. Deputy, just as a flash creature, I guess it's fine, but it might be one of our cuts. Play 23. Wow, Rock's Warmonk is back. We definitely cut Bant. So we are the Bant deck with the sigilled Rock's Warmonk from Alara. God, that card's good. He's got his own Unflinching Courage. Honestly, they should have reprinted Armadillo Cloak. I don't even know what's going on in this art. It's just some nonsense. You got your dinosaur and your, like, weirdly sized mice and things. Just doesn't make any sense. Alright. Alright, that's the draft here. So we want to see about colors. Oops. See what we have to build. Yeah, is there anything we left out of it? This is 24 cards with 2 signets. And the top of our curve is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's kind of like 18 sources. Where we really want to hit 4. We've got an urban evolution, so that does draw cards. Yeah, kind of a tough one. Yeah, actually, Momentary Blink is an easy cut. I'm not sure what that was still doing in there. And then we can play full 17 lands plus the 2 signets, and we shouldn't have too much trouble with flooding out. We've got a lot to do with our mana, from Primal Command to Urban Evolution to our wicked 5-drops and Vanish into Memory. So yeah, pretty confident about that. Maybe a late Cackling Counterpart to copy something. Alright, so to clean up our sideboard a bit, we can take out all the off-color stuff. Giant Baiting is not one I would likely bring in. And Golgari Signet can also stay out. 2 signets is plenty for 17 lands. Alright, so color-wise, we've got 14 white cards and a few early white cards, so good to keep in mind what you're trying to do early in the game. Whereas blue, we have double stuff, but it's a lot later. So 14, 10, and 5, or 6. So 14, 10, 6 kind of decreases evenly. We'll start like this, because we do have a lot of double blue. But we'll cut blue liberally. And then this is 2 sources of green and 1 source of each blue and white. So we're at like 8, 7, 6. Citadel adds all 3. We can take out, I think, blue for that, and take out a green for Simic Signet. So this leaves us with 10 white sources, 9 green sources, which looks pretty good, and 7 blue sources. And that looks just about spot on to me. If it's off, you could probably fiddle with the numbers a bit, but it looks, you know, close enough to get things done. One other thing to look at is, like, yeah, we have double blue, and we do have significantly less blue than the other colors, but we really want to hit our green-white on turn 2, if at all possible. I think we'll be able to do that a large amount of the time. 6, 7, 8, yeah. So this looks pretty good. And kind of excited about this deck. I'll see you in the matches.